The great Mughal Empire, the envy of its contemporaries for almost 2 centuries, declined and disintegrated during the first half of the 18th century. The Mughal emperors lost their power and glory, and their empire shrank to a few square miles around Delhi. In the end, in 1803, Delhi itself was occupied by the British Army, and the proud Mughal emperor was reduced to the status of a mere pensioner of a foreign power. A study of the process of decline of this great empire is most instructive. It reveals some of the defects and weaknesses of India's medieval social, economic, and political structure, which were responsible for the eventual subjugation of the country by the English East India Company. The unity and stability of the empire had been shaken up during the long and strong reign of Aurangzeb. Yet, in spite of his many harmful policies, the Mughal administration was still quite efficient and the Mughal army quite strong at the time of his death in 1707. Moreover, the Mughal dynasty still commanded respect in the country. On Aurangzeb's death, his 3 sons fought among themselves for the throne. The 65-year-old Bahadur Shah emerged victorious. He was learned, dignified, and able. He followed a policy of compromise and conciliation, and there was evidence of the reversal of some of the narrow-minded policies and measures adopted by Aurangzeb. He adopted a more tolerant attitude towards the Hindu chiefs and Rajas. There was no destructions of temples in his reign. In the beginning, he made an attempt to gain greater control over the Rajput states of the Amber and Marwar by replacing Jai Singh with his younger brother Vijay Singh at Amber, and by forcing Ajit Singh of Marwar to submit to Mughal authority. He also made an attempt to garrison the cities of Amber and Jodhpur. This attempt was, however, met with firm resistance. This may have made him recognize the folly of his actions, for he soon arrived at a settlement with the 2 states, though the settlement was not magnanimous, though their states were restored to the Rajas Jai Singh and Ajit Singh. Their demand for high mansab and the offices of subedars of important provinces, such as Malwa and Gujarat, was not accepted. His policy towards the Maratha Sardar was that of half-hearted conciliation. While he granted them the Sardushmukhi of the Deccan, he failed to grant them the Chauth and to satisfy them fully. He also did not recognize Shahu as the rightful Maratha king. He thus let Tarabai and Shahu fought for supremacy over the Maratha kingdom. The result was that Shahu and the Maratha Sardar remained dissatisfied, and the Deccan continued to be susceptible to disorder. There could be no restoration of peace and order so long as the Maratha Sardar fought on another as well as against the Mughal authority. Bahadur Shah had tried to conciliate the rebellious Sikhs by making peace with Guru Gobind Singh and giving him a high mansab. But when, after the death of the Guru, the Sikhs once again raised the banner of revolt in the Punjab under the leadership of Banda Bahadur, the emperor decided to take strong measures and himself lead a campaign against the rebels, who soon controlled practically the entire territory between the Satluj and the Jamuna, reaching the close neighborhood of Delhi. even though he succeeded in capturing Lohgarh, a fort built by Guru Gobind Singh northeast of Ambala at the foothills of the Himalayas and other important Sikh strongholds. The Sikh could not be crushed in 1712. They recovered the fort of Lohgarh. Bahadur Shah consolidated Chhattisgarh, the Bundela chief, who remained a loyal feudatory, and the Jat chief Charuman, who joined him in the campaign against Banda Bahadur. There was further deterioration in the field of administration in Banda Bahadur's reign. The position of state finances worsened as a result of his reckless grant of jagirs and promotions. During his reign, the remnants of the royal treasury, amounting in 1707 to some 13 crores of rupees, were exhausted. Bahadur Shah was groping towards a solution to the problems besetting the empire. Given time, he might have revived the imperial fortune. Unfortunately, his death in 1712 plunged the empire once again into civil war. A new element entered Mughal politics in this and the succeeding War of Succession. While previously the contest for power had been between royal princes and the nobles had merely aided the aspirant to the throne. Now ambitious noble became direct contender for power and used the prince as a mere pawn to capture the seats of authority. In the civil war following Bahadur Shah's death, one of his less able sons, Jahandar Shah, won because he was supported by Zulfikar Khan, the most powerful noble of the time. Jahandar Shah was a weak, degenerated prince who was wholly devoted to pleasure. He lacked good manners and dignity and decency. During his reign, the administration was virtually in the hand of the extremely capable and energetic Zulfikar Khan, who had become his wazir. Zulfikar Khan believed that it was necessary to establish friendly relations with the Rajput Rajas and Maratha Sardars, and consolidated the Hindu chieftains in general in order to strengthen his own position at the court and to save the empire. Therefore, he rapidly reversed the policy of Aurangzeb. The hated jizyas was abolished. Jai Singh of Amber was given the title of Mirza Raja, Savai the title of Maharaja, and appointed governor of Gujarat. Zulfikar Khan confirmed the earlier private arrangement that his deputy in Deccan, Daud Khan Pani, had concluded with the Maratha king Shahu in 1711. By this arrangement, the Maratha ruler was granted the Chauth and Sardesh Mukhi of the Deccan on the condition that this collection would be made by Mughal officials and then handed over to the Maratha officials. Zulfikar Khan also consolidated Charumanjat and Chhattisgarh Bundela. Only towards Banda and the Sikh did he continue the old policy of suppression. Zulfikar Khan made an attempt to improve the finance of the empire by checking the reckless growth of jagirs and offices. He also tried to compel the Mansabs to maintain their official quota of troops. An evil tendency encouraged by him was that of Ijra or revenue farming. Instead of collecting land revenue at a fixed rate as under Todermal's land revenue settlement, the government began to contract with revenue farmers and middlemen to pay the government a fixed amount of money while they were left free to collect whatever they could from the peasant. This led to increased oppression of the peasant. Many jealous nobles secretly worked against Zulfikar Khan. Worse still, the emperor too did not give him his trust and cooperation in full measure. The emperor's ears were poisoned against Zulfikar Khan by unsculptured favorite. He was told that his vizier was becoming too powerful and ambitious and might even overthrow the emperor himself. The cowardly emperors dared not dismiss the powerful vizier, but he began to interview against him secretly. Nothing could have been more destructive of healthy administration.